Hey everybody, it's Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Abstract Academy. Abstract Academy is a game published by Flat Out Games and Crafty and Quill Silver, designed by Molly Johnson, Robert Melvin, and Sean Stankowick. They've done other games like Fruit Salad. I think, what else did they do? Calico, maybe one of them did that. But they're the design team behind a lot of Flat Out Games stuff. And it plays 2 or 4 players, 20 to 40 minutes. Now, what you're basically doing in this game is you are trying to make you're painting on a canvas, but both players are sharing, or both players or the 2 teams are sharing the canvas and trying to come up with different patterns of color to meet some kind of challenges that are going to score differently each round. The first round is going to be colors, second round is going to be something that like a professor is wanting, and the third round is a combination of both. And then whoever has the most points after all of that is the winner. So that's enough talking about it. Let's go on the table. Check it out.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
All right, so here's a game of Abstract Academy, all set up for 2 players. To set up this game, what you're going to do is you are going to shuffle all these canvas cards. They look like this on one side and this on the other. Shuffle each of the individual decks, so we got the Inspiration, Professor, Blue, Red, and Yellow assignments. Give each player one of these cards, which has the in-game scoring and turn order on one, but I just have both of these set up here. And randomly give someone the Teacher's Pet card, which I've done. Now, beginning of round 1, the beginning of the round setup is going to go the same way, basically. So each player is going to get 3 cards. So this player's here, and this player is here, and I'll explain why that's important in a minute. And then each player is going to get an inspiration card, and these are going to look something like this. It's a pattern that you're trying to build out on this grid that we're going to be painting here in a minute. And if I could do that at the end of the game, 2 points. So I'm going to keep mine face up so you can kind of see what we're working for here. All right. Then at the beginning of round 1, what we're going to be doing is we are trying to complete different colored assignments. So we'll flip one. So we need the fewest blue areas, largest red area, and most yellow areas with only 1 quadrant. Okay, so that's kind of how we're going to be getting some scoring this time. So let's play. So the way the game works is on your turn you're going to play a card to the center of the table here. Now the reason one player sitting over here, one player sitting over here is we are going to have a couple scoring rows. We're going to have the 2 rows in front of this player is going to be where they score. The 2 rows in front of this player is going to be how they score, and we're going to be making a grid that's 4 by 4, no bigger. Okay. So these are the cards that I have. It doesn't really matter what I show you because they're just different layouts of red, yellow, and blue. But I'm going to try to do this pattern. So let's try to start it with this one. So I'm going to play it like this. Right there. All right. Then after your turn, you draw a card. All right. Then it's the other player's turn. They're going to do the same thing. And they will play opposite me. Now, the only rule here is you have to play a card orthogonally adjacent to a card that's already out there. So they're going to go like this. All right, and they have to go in the same direction. You can't like randomly put cards like this. So we started playing like this, we're going to play like that. Then they draw a card. Back to me. I'm trying to play one of my goals, so I'm going to largest red area. So let's just do this. We'll slide this over. Largest red area. That's what I'm going for. Okay, done. Then it's their turn. They're going to play a card. Fewest blue areas, so they don't want to get blue. So let's do this. They're going to do this. Okay, then they draw a card. Again, I'm just playing. There'd be more strategy here, but I just want to show you how the game works. I'm going to play this right there. Draw a card. they're going to play a card down. And they'll go most yellow quadrants, areas with only one quadrant. So let's go like this. Okay, they're done. I'm going to go my turn. I'm still trying to get my goal, my inspiration, which is going to be really hard. Maybe. Yep. So let's do this. Okay, because they can only be 4 wide, and I'm trying to keep this as centered in the table as I can. All right, done. This player, they're just going to randomly play this card here. You can play in any area, it doesn't matter. So that's technically my home row, or one of my scoring rows. And let's see. Okay, they're gonna play here. I'm gonna play there, draw a card. They're going to play here. Go down some. Draw a card. My turn. I'm going to play here. Sorry, I have to keep adjusting. I want to make sure it's still in the camera. So I'm playing there. So now that's my home row. And draw a card. This player's going to play a card. They will play they'll play right here. Draw a card. I'm going to play right here. Draw a card. I don't know how this played out, but that's fine. I'm going to play here. Draw a card. I'll play here. Draw a card, and then they will play there. All right. Now, that's the playing of the grid. Now, let's go talk about how this is going to score. But let me adjust it up a little bit so we can make sure that we're seeing everything accurately, and then we will talk about scoring. All right, so now let's talk about scoring. One rule that I may have missed is the row closest to you is called your home row. The opponent may never play in your home row. So if this row wasn't here and this was right here, the opponent would have to play here because this is my home row. But if it was like this and it was their turn and this was the only space, then they could play in my home row. I may have broken that rule when setting this up, but I just kind of wanted to show you how the game play works and how the scoring works. So if I missed that, I apologize. Just know that you can never play in the row closest to your opponent. Now let's talk about scoring. So the way scoring works is after you built the grid out here, you're allowed to score one of your inspiration cards. So let's take a look at mine. I have this one. So I need to have this pattern of the same color in my grid. Now let's see if I have that. And I can only score this row and this row. Anything over here, I cannot score. So if we look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have one extra. I did not make that scoring, I don't believe. So I cannot score my inspiration. So it'll just hang out onto the side for later. This player will look at theirs. What do they have? They have an L shape. So let's see if they have an L shape. They do not. They have an L shape, but they have some extra stuff onto it, and I don't believe that counts. So they do not. All right, so they'll hold on to theirs as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to score these three things. And if there's a tie, whoever has the teacher's pet breaks the tie, takes the card, then the teacher's pet passes. And that person will become the new first player and tiebreaker. So fewest blue areas. So we'll look at mine. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue areas. If it's orthogonally adjacent, it's considered an area. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 5. So I have the first player marker, so I'll take this and I will score these points. And then they will now become teacher's pet. Then we'll look at largest red area. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they will get that one. And then back to me, or to yellow. Most yellow areas with only one quadrant. So I have 1, 2, 3. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they'll get that one. Quadrant, one quadrant looks like that. So I have 3 right there. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, they're good. All right, and that's how you score round 1. At the end of the round, all the cards that were played go away. So all the canvas cards are gone. You clean those up. It takes a minute because it's hard to pick up cards, apparently. And then any cards that you scored, you can just sit them off to the side. So I'll just sit this over there. They'll sit theirs over here. And then each player is going to get a new inspiration card. So we'll each get. So I'll get this one. So I'm looking for steps. So 1, 2, 3, like diagonal 4 pattern. And this player is going to get an inspiration. And then in round 2, we're going to do. Round 2 is 2 professor cards. So we're going to get the professor cards out, and we're going to be scoring these. So we want to have the fewest color areas and the largest color area. Going to play the same way. Make the 4x4 grid. Can't play in your player's home row. All that kind of thing. You'll score your inspiration. Score these. And then in the third round, whoever's the teacher's pet will then pick 1 professor card and then 2 of the 3 color cards. And those are going to be the scoring that we get this time. And then after the end of the round, we'll score them. Whoever has the most points that they have scored is the winner. And that is how you play Abstract Academy. Let's go up to the top, see what we think about it.
Maybe there's a happy little tree that lives right here.
All right, well, that was Abstract Academy. So let's talk about components first. This box, I hate these boxes. They're absolutely atrocious. I hate it. You can't get cards in them. They never fit in there correctly. So now this is my box. Fold up the rule book. Everything fits in here. And I'm much happier about it. So Abstract Academy is now in here. But let's look at some of the cards. The cards are really nice quality. The rule book, I had to fold it to get it in here, but it's really easy to, it's, I don't know how many pages is it? 13 pages. It has special rules for 4 players, a page of credits, examples, setup. Rule book is great. The cards are really nice quality. They're real thick linen finish. The player reference is fantastic. Shows you the end of round scoring, what you do each round. The professor cards have really awesome art with how they're going to score. I dig all that. The color cards, let's just show you some yellow. They're going to be wanting groups of colors or whatever, certain patterns of yellow to score. Here's a blue one, all that. Then we have inspirations, which are just patterns that you want to have in your scoring section. So I need to do stair steps. That was really hard. This one, I showed you that in the overview, also really hard. Straight line, which is a little bit easier. A square, that's some of them. But the main crux of the game is these cards here. The canvas cards, and they're literally blank canvas on the back. And some combination of the 3 colors on the front. So that's yellow and blue, yellow and red, blue and red. They all look like they're actually painted on canvas, which is really cool. I like the look a lot, but it's easy to see the colors. I don't know how it works for colorblind. I'm not sure with that. I'm color weak, but I can tell all this stuff apart. So, but again, I'm not colorblind, so I don't know. So that's what those cards look like. The components. The cards are really nice. Outside of the box, trash. All the other components are amazing. I love it. Even this teacher's pet card is really cool. Of a funky apple painted on like 4 different kinds of paper. I dig it. So that's the components. Now let's talk about the gameplay. Says you can play this as 4 players. Don't do that. Just play it as 2. And effectively what this game is what you saw. It's playing cards down to a grid, trying to form patterns. The tricky part here is And the thing that I don't necessarily love is you're at the mercy of a lot of top decking, which means drawing the card on the top of the deck. And you're limited to where you're able to place, because you always have to place orthogonally, and you can never place in your opponent's home row, which is tricky. So it gives you 3 of the 4 rows that you can place in. Not terrible, but it just makes it a little more challenging. And I don't know, sometimes it's really hard to make these patterns too. Like if I'm trying to make the stair steps and I have, you know, a bunch of cards like this, with what's already out there, I'm trying to make stair steps with these patterns. You can't ever put a card like this. The card always has to go like this. So you can't overlap it, you know, which would be cool. But I don't know, the patterns are really hard, and then you're trying to focus on those patterns, but there's actually more points in the actual goals, because these inspiration cards are only 2 points. The other goals are, you know, 3, 4, 5 points. So, you know, you can make all 3 of your inspiration cards at 6. If I get a couple of those goals up at the top, I've now met your points and all that. I don't know, the gameplay's fine. It's just not, from what flat out games normally do, this felt maybe a little bit underwhelming in my opinion. Like Point Salad, similar kind of game. It's a card game only. You're using cards in one of 2 ways. You're either going to take it for an ingredient, or you're going to take it as a contract that you need to fulfill. Even that, I feel like the decision in that simple of a game is deeper than what we're doing with these cards, because sometimes you're limited. You can't ever play, maybe the perfect place to play a card is in your opponent's home row. You can't play there. Why not? Why can't I play in that row? I should be able to play the card anywhere I want to screw you over. So I just feel like you're super limited on where you can play cards. You're limited by the cards that you draft. They look amazing, but I don't know. I felt like it was missing something. I like the scoring. I like trying to, you know, do the largest blue section. That's cool. But again, I also want to do this. Not a lot of motivation to do these because they're only worth 2 points. I don't know. I wanted to like it more, but I didn't. But I don't hate it. It's not my favorite flat out game, but it's also not one that I'm going to keep coming back to unless someone really has they're into the art theme, they're into painting, all that kind of thing. So that's what it is. So that is Abstract Academy from Flat Out Games, Crafty, Cool Silver. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.